mean, now it's just insane. Now we have a whole day dedicated to coming out. When I was just growing up, your whole coming out day might have been the day you got kicked out. Hello Frenzy, my name is Kate Shark, and obviously this video is different. Wow. I am not playing a game today. This is going to be a little extra video, and this is a segment I've been wanting to add to the channel for some time and just haven't gotten around to doing it. As you saw in the title thing, it's called Story Time with Kate Shark. And there we go. So, as you know, it's June, which is Pride Month, which was news to me because I am so out of the loop on the whole community in general. But I thought I would share my story, my coming out story, with you in honor of it being Pride Month and all that. And I'll tell you right now, my story isn't anything radical. It's actually quite boring. I was a bit skeptical to do my coming out story for the simple fact that, well, it's boring. But that's the whole great thing about the whole human experience, is that there's all these different experiences out there. Everyone's different. Everyone's got a different story to tell. And therefore, you know, it might help someone out there who's struggling to come out. Or maybe you just want to hear the story. Maybe you're just like me and knows you want to hear the coming out story. So I hope you enjoy it. Please keep an open mind. Anyway, so here is my coming out story, and enjoy. So I think it would all start probably middle school is when I kind of realized that I wasn't like most girls. That's an understatement of the century. Now, granted, when I came into middle school, I looked a little something like this. You don't have to say it, I know. When girls in middle school, many of them were starting to develop, and this isn't a period story, I apologize, but it's coming off that way. But a lot of girls were developing, puberty was hitting for them, they became interested in boys, and I was not. I was just a skinny, awkward kid trying to figure things out at 11, 12, 13, and it just wasn't happening. And I didn't want to chase boys. I really had no interest in boys whatsoever. Now, God forbid you come off different in middle school, then you get picked on for being different. So if friends of mine or people I knew fairly well said, do you have a crush on a boy? I would say I had a crush on like some random boy that probably never knew I existed, and leave it at that. So like a crush every girl had a crush on. So I would make it up, and so I would blend in. My God, I sound like a sociopath. I think right around 13 was probably the age where I realized that I might have had some attraction to women. When I was 13, my dad and I went to go see X-Men in the movie theater. And this is the original live-action movie, X-Men, not all the 1,300 sequels they made off it. And during the preview trailers, there was a trailer for a film called Bedazzled, and it's got Elizabeth Hurley in it. Enough said, right? Well, there's a scene where, in the trailer, there's a scene where it shows Elizabeth Hurley standing there in a very tight red dress, and in that movie theater at 13 years old, my jaw hit the floor. That sticky, sticky floor. So that was the first time I really felt like an attraction to another woman, and I didn't really feel one again for probably several years later. Middle school came and went. It was a horrid, horrid experience. People always talk about high school being bad. I always thought middle school was way worse. Because when I went to high school, I decided, all right, I'm new school, whole new bunch of people. I'm going to revamp myself. So I lost the glasses, I had a new haircut, and I don't have a picture to show you, and I apologize. So I went to high school. I was in the marching band, and you know, that's kids of all ages in that one. So I had a lot of friends who were older, one of which was a senior named Emily. who was absolutely awesome because she let me follow her around like a puppy dog, and she never told me to go away. She let me hang out with her and her friends, and she made me feel like I belonged. And she was a really good friend, and Emily was so cool. You know, she was so funny and so outgoing, and I thought she was the coolest person in the world. She was also a lesbian. And because I hung out with her all the time, a lot of people said, we thought you were a lesbian because you hung out with her sometimes. And I never saw her that way. I just thought she was a fun person and fun to be around. That's why I liked hanging out with her. So, first of all, Emily, if you are watching this, I don't know if you will, this is pretty conceited. Thank you for letting me follow you around like a puppy for that entire year. I'm sure I was a annoying twat, but so I thought I was so cool because I had a friend who was a senior, and then she went off to college, and my high school career progressed. And boys started to kind of notice me then, and I was finally starting the early process of puberty to finally hit at 14 and a half, 15. So boys started paying attention to me, and they would be boys who I was decent friends with. We were good friends, we hung out, we enjoyed their company. And so when they'd ask me to go out to the movies or be their boyfriend, or be their girlfriend or whatever, I would always think, you know what, he's a nice guy, I like him a lot, why not give it a shot as being his girlfriend or him being my boyfriend? And once it did, it was like something changed, like it just wasn't right. When my boyfriends would come to like put their arm around me or hold my hand, I'd feel smothered. It felt wrong. And smothered's a weird way to put that, but it didn't fit. It felt wrong. And none of these boys ever did anything wrong. They never did anything without my consent or anything like that. So it's nothing like that. It just never felt right. And I'd always feel like I was like suffocating, or like I just didn't feel like me. And I couldn't take it for longer than a week before I break up with them. And I'm so sorry because I gave stupid excuses like I'm just too young, or I'm too young to have a boyfriend or something like that. And really it was just I had no idea what was going on. It'd be one thing to feel like smothered when they put their arm around me or hold my hand, but I thought I would make up excuses. Well, I'm just not a touchy-feely person, which I'm not. And that's okay. You know, not everyone is. I'm not a touchy-feely person. I've never really been one to like to be touched too often. And so I was thinking, that's just me. That's just me being weird and standoffish. That's just me and myself. And when I would kiss these boys, thinking, well, it'll be different when I kiss them. Wrong. And the first time it really happened with my first high school boyfriend, we made out one time, and I remember feeling sick immediately afterward. And stupid 14-year-old me thought, oh, I got mono. Never mind, that's not how mono works. No matter what they tell you, that's not how it works. I thought I caught mono, and then I felt better a day later. I was all right. But even thinking about it kind of made my stomach turn. And like I said, there was nothing that he did wrong, or nothing without, I wanted to do it. I actively tried it, and I just felt sick afterward. And I thought, well, after I realized it wasn't mono, I figured, well, he's just not the right one. Maybe I didn't feel about him the way I thought I did. And little did I know I was half right. He wasn't the one. He was just the wrong gender altogether. So I tried it with other boys, tried kissing them, and I feel the same way. And there were lots of nights I just thought there was something really, really wrong with me. I didn't know what. I was like, and I lay in bed at night and I would just cry and cry, just trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I just cry, wondering and crying out like, what is wrong with me? Why don't I feel this way? I should. These guys are sweet and kind and attentive, and they're, I could probably ask them to do anything and they would have. Wow, conceited. Right, maybe I am a sociopath. And the one thing I really hated about all this is because I'd have girlfriends of mine, not girlfriends, not like that, like friends who were girls, who would tell me about who would tell me their intimate times with their boyfriends and how they like make out and have sex, and I was so envious of them because I wanted that. I wanted to be able to hold hands with a person or cuddle with a person. Hell, I was a teenager, my hormones were going crazy. Yeah, I wanted sex. I wanted it probably as much as any one of the boys. It's just I couldn't get past the kissing. And I was so envious of my girlfriends growing up, like wondering like what's wrong with me? Like they can do it. It's nothing to them. And to me I can't even get past a kiss without feeling sick, and I can't have them touch me without feeling smothered. So I've somehow convinced myself, like, all these different things. I'm too young, it's just not the right person, things like that. And then I, at one point, even convinced myself, oh, I just don't want to date high school guys, And so I thought, I'll go to, it'll be different. I'll go to college, I'll meet an adult, and it'll be, an adult man. And it'll be better, and I'll meet someone who's more sophisticated and worldly, and that'll be better anyway. So right around my senior year, that's when puberty really hit at 17, decided I was put on the pill, and the puberty fairy finally seemed to catch my house number at that one. So I finally had a body that I liked, retained every bit of water at that point. So skinny me became this curvy woman, and I really liked myself all of a sudden. Like, I liked my looks. I had boobs for the first time ever, and I would, wear them up and out and hike them up to my chin, and I'd wear these pantsuits with blouses that were really low cut and bras that pushed my boobs up. And so I was still getting attention from boys, and I was still feeling the same thing, like, don't want anything to do with them. So somewhere towards the end of my senior year, I suddenly realized I was having feelings for a girl who happened to be a very good friend of mine. And somehow we got to talking. I don't even remember how, but we got to talking and realized that she had feelings for me too, and that we wanted to explore what that meant. So we ended up coming up with an agreement that we would become friends with benefits. Because I was getting ready to graduate. She still had another year behind me in school. So we decided what we'll do is we'll be friends with benefits over the summer. I'll go to college, and that'll be that. And for the first time ever, I could kiss someone and I didn't feel sick. I could be next to someone and I didn't feel smothered. It was finally like the puzzle pieces finally fit. And I slowly began to realize that it wasn't that I didn't care for the guys, they were guys, and that's not what I wanted. So pretty much all of 18 was me realizing, oh, I'm a lesbian. I tried, for a while I kind of held on to the fact that maybe I'm bisexual, maybe there's a chance that I like men too, but I quickly realized that was not the case at all. It was women, and the friends with benefits thing ended up becoming my first girlfriend, or first real relationship, honestly. We were together a year and a half, and it was a lot of firsts. But so I came out to pretty much everyone. My sisters knew, a lot of my friends knew. I didn't tell my parents straight away because I was still trying to figure myself out for a long, long time, trying to figure out if I was bisexual, if I was gay, what that meant. And I was never worried about coming out to my parents because they didn't really, my parents never had a problem with gay people. They were fine with that. I knew that it's probably completely different when it's your kid, and that's fine. I understand. It's I think my mom's ultimate dream was for me to, original dream was for me to marry a nice Catholic boy and go off and become with a big Catholic family, and she got a lesbian instead. But you gotta roll with the punches and take what life gives you. So I came out to my mom when I was like 19, and at the time, my girlfriend at the time did not want me to come out. She was afraid, she wasn't ready to come out herself. And I told her that was fine. I didn't expect her to come out. If she didn't want to, she didn't have to, but I wanted to come out to my parents. I didn't want them thinking I was, not that it's bad, but I didn't want them thinking I was straight or someone I wasn't. I worked at a bookstore, and I remember I was talking with my mom in the car one day, and I mentioned something about there were a lot of gay people who worked at the store. In fact, it was mostly gay people. It was the straight people who were the oddballs. That's not the right term. Were the odd men out in that. There were very few straight people compared to gay people. And my mom made a joke of like, oh, are you and someone the only two straight people there? And I said, no, I'm a lesbian. And my mom was quiet for a while, and I was worried like maybe I was wrong, maybe my mom wasn't okay with it. And finally she said, well, just don't get a mullet. So, and my dad was fine. I think my dad knew. I think my dad knew a long time ago that I was gay. And when he found out, it wasn't a big to do. I think it was just like, yeah, and, you know, the world didn't collapse. You know, my first girlfriend and I didn't working out, but we were young, and oftentimes this is not the case. Sometimes we were young and we wanted different things out of life, and we went our separate ways, and that was the way it went. And I ended up meeting and falling in love with my wife, and here we are almost 11 years later. Holy shit. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope someone out there got something, that it was entertaining to some of you, that it helped someone out there. So if you did like this video, make sure to give it the thumbs up and like it. Leave a comment below if you'd like to, on other subjects or other topics you'd like me to talk about on this kind of segment. I'd love to do more. It was actually a lot of fun. And be sure to subscribe to the channel to see other videos that I've done. I will see you in the next one.